Hello, Culture Matters podcast. We are back with 30 days of thought. Woke up this morning, 3:33 a.m., and I knew, felt, was called to stay up wide awake to get to work. Only fitting for this excerpt of 30 Days of Thought, page 57, called Procrastination is the Only True Death. Why this process is helpful to me is strategy, it's thinking, it's rethinking, it's self-awareness, it's having my assumptions challenged, so ultimately I can develop into a better leader, a better thinker, a better strategist, a better podcaster, better interviewer, a more clear thinking leader. And I don't think I'm alone in this. I think you as well participating with me in your 30 days of thought. Your thoughts on the thoughts will help you become more clear thinking, at a greater awareness, a better orator, better writer, better thinker. This morning, I got challenged by a great colleague, has been on the show quite a bit, Alec Arena. If you haven't listened to his podcasts, I challenge you to listen to those podcasts. So very strong-willed, focused, intelligent, passionate individual. And something feedback he gave me on something led me to think I could do that now or I could do that later. And the inclination would be to do it later. Why? Well, I can. I'm entitled. I'm not held accountable to do it right now outside of my will. Ben Franklin said, the art of living in yesterday, destroying today. The art of living in yesterday, avoiding today, and destroying tomorrow is procrastination. I'm saying on page 57 in 30 Days of Thought, procrastination is the only true death. I feel like a Superman right now because I went and did that thing earlier at 4 in the morning that as I was awake and ready to rock, I could have very easily convinced myself to do tomorrow or the next day or later. And the likelihood of it getting done wouldn't be, would be extremely high. So procrastination is the only true death. Now I'm energized, enthused. How do I know that had I put that off, having not listened to someone I respect, having not made the decision, I had that epiphany like, oh, I should do this then. Let me get this done now. Oh no, I could do it later. It's too early. I'm tired. Now I've done it. How do I know that me doing that hasn't actually led me to recording this right now at 5:51 in the morning? Had I not done that activity for over an hour it took, how do I know that you now listening to this, that something good that's happening in your life after you have an epiphany or a thought or take action isn't a consequence of me having chosen to get something done as opposed to put it off, which then influenced me to actually do this, which then led for the team to put this out, which then gave you an opportunity to listen to it. And now something good is happening for someone else because you listened to it and did something based on me doing this, which was based on me choosing not to procrastinate on that other thing that influenced this. We're all connected. Wow. So why 30 Days of Thought is valuable is this, something that you're about to do is influenced by this conversation for yourself and other people. So here's the excerpt. Procrastination is the only true death. And I'll share some of my thoughts, having looked back on this from the past. Quote, to put off or let go, or to let go, or simply wait for an opportunity means death. For what exactly could we possibly need to get started? It will never be what we have, but only what we believe we need. that will stop us. The potential of what is may just be the effect of the cause, the action itself, and not the fears that stalk our mind. When we perceive our only true death as the lack of execution upon a thought, our paradigm will never be the same. The understanding of our power and the essence of life itself may be realized in the distinction between thinking and getting started. As the adage goes, procrastination is the art of living in our yesterday, avoiding today, and destroying tomorrow. Ben Franklin. To live in doing the same thing repeatedly, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. If you have already lived that truth once, why entertain living it a second time? The life of now lies in the execution of energy exerted in thinking, speaking, and writing. The fruits of our labor are the manifestation of tomorrow. Procrastination, or the act of putting things off, is surely the only true death. If this truth holds its weight, that knowing is the bridge between the negative and the positive, or the source, be it physical or non-physical, then the only true death is never to begin. Our biggest fear is death, but an imagined reality of what may be coming next, only to prove that there is something next, shows that we are not ready for death at all. Be true to this statement, as procrastination is but a feeling from the past. Procrastination does not exist, but only in your mind, and avoiding creation is guaranteeing one probable future. Failure is not starting. Failure in not starting. Make your choice wisely. So that last sentence, right? Procrastination does not exist, but only in our mind. And avoiding creation is guaranteeing one probable future. Failure in not starting. Make your choice wisely. It's interesting. You can succeed in not starting, but it's a fail. You can succeed in not starting, but it's a fail. I wrote, I am entitled not to act. Entitlement is interesting because entitlement comes at a consequence of responsibility. If I've been responsible, able to respond to things outside of my control, let's just say my control, meaning things are happening, effects are occurring. I have the ability to respond to them. I have the ability to respond to things out of my control. Let's say problems, solve problems. So there's a responsibility, the ability to respond. There's a sacrificial element to that. There's a vision element to that. There's a rational element to that, to be able to reason, distinguish between deconstructive response to constructive response. You know, that emotional, let's say there's an emotion that arises of fight or flight. I might have the ability to address that and move through it, have the courage to confront chaos and not succumb to it, the courage to move into the solution versus be stunted, stilted, nullified, you know, the quit versus continue, you know, fight or flight, quit, you know, run away, be stuck. No one's following that. I'm not solving problems stuck in paranoia, stuck in inaction. Um, um, I have to move through the conflict, right? Churchill, if you're going through hell, go faster, you know, walk faster, taking action. So responsibility, the ability to respond, to address, to confront, to courageously, you know, you have a vision, you have a plan, you sacrifice, your values are tested, you take the leap of faith, you take the risk, you execute, you know, you call 10 people, 7 say no, 3 say yes, 1 works out really well. Now you're 1, you had 0, now you have 1. 1 is, you know, exponentially more than zero because you had zero, now you have one. It's infinite, it's 100, a lot more. And you might need five. So you're going to have to do that multiple times, right? 10 to 3 to 1 to get to five, because it took 10, 7 rejections of 10 to get three. And then one of the three works out. You're going to need lots of action, commitment on a word, commitment on a thought, commitment on uh, a commitment to something greater, a sacrifice to succeed. But so the responsibility could be there, the ability to respond, the emotional regulation, the rational ability, the competence, the confidence, all of that is there wrapped up to respond. Now you get the results, you get the outcome. Well, enough of outcome so that the inputs are there. Now the outputs, which we could easily focus on. There's so many ways to say this, like the leading indicators, the lagging indicators. The leading indicators are what we do and what we don't do that leads to lagging indicators, which is what we get, right? Inputs, outputs. I'm putting in the work, now I'm getting the results. So let's say that the work is sales, is marketing, is team building, is all, the things that are oriented in the future. We're not getting paid for them right now. I'm not feeling the success right now. All I'm feeling is the rejection and the conflict and the uncertainty. But I have this vision of the future. I have this hope of the future. I have this belief. I have this just invisible pull that the outcome is going to happen. Success is going to happen. If success, we define it, let's just say it's all of a sudden resources are available. We have the paycheck, the bonus, the big deal. So we have now something that we may have lacked. We have resources we may have lacked. We're entitled. We may not be as accountable. Well, because like it's interesting. We could say we may not be as responsible. But how do we know we were that responsible if we were forced through the accountability of the lack of having resources, the lack of relationships, and all we had was a reason? All we had was a reason to pursue resources, to pursue relationships, meaning the resources, capital, going from being negative bank account, negative net worth to an abundance of it. There's a relational aspect to that. There's those that didn't believe in us that now might. So we go from having no resources, both economic and social, to having an abundance of economic resources and social. It's a different accountability. Now we don't have that macro element of accountability. We're not accountable to the bank. We're not accountable to the something to prove to others, because we're not in a state of power. We're not seen as valuable. We're not accepted. Our ideas aren't heard. People don't, we're just the delusional startup person, the delusional founder, the interesting person at the bonfire with a lot of ideas and weird looks. Now we've got the cash. Now we've got the social clout. Everybody wants to be around us and say we're great and gain favor from being close to us. We're not going to be forced by the market, by our circumstances, by our bank account to get to work, to sacrifice, to respond to conflict, to make it happen, to move into action. So our responsibility is going to be tested. Our character is going to be tested. Our purpose is going to be tested. Our vision is going to be tested. Our ambitions are going to be tested. Truly, are they there? Do we have a calling, or were we just working hard because we lacked resources, we lacked power, we lacked influence, we lacked authority? Now we have it. We're going to be tested. We're going to see. You are going to see. I am going to see how responsible I am, how purpose-driven and vision-oriented I am when I have everything I need. Procrastination is the art of living in yesterday, avoiding today, and destroying tomorrow. And I think there's an entitlement in success. There's an entitlement that comes from winning, and responsibility balances it out. But responsibility has a relationship with purpose, which has a relationship with vision, which has a relationship with values, has a relationship with destiny. Self sabotage is why I wait to act. Self sabotage is why I wait to act. Do I believe I'm worthy? Do you believe you're worthy? Are you afraid of getting in that next room, of working on that next deal, of being at that next level? You have to contend with that. I have to contend with that. How could there not be fear in the unknown? Peterson really outlines this well in Maps of Meaning. You know, there's what is and what should be. There's what is and what should be. And we're constantly in this, it seems like, yeah, an infinite, uh, an infinite loop, an infinite loop. What is, what should be between hope and anxiety, you know, hope and angst. What could go wrong? What could go right? The idealized future, how we navigate through the conflict reveals us, reveals us at every level, reveals our philosophy, reveals our culture, reveals our faith. What is, what should be. And we're reorienting ourselves through the process of responding and relating to the unknown, known and unknown, explored and unexplored territory, constantly reevaluating and reintegrating. He's going and making an argument of not just religious foundations, symbolic and transcendent foundations, and philosophical foundations, and the cultural foundations of our psychology. But this self-sabotage is why I wait to act. Knowledge has always been for me. Learning things has given me a safer feeling to be in that room I otherwise wouldn't be invited to economically, socially, etc., etc. I wrote, I do not feel worthy. I'll be found out. Is that conscious or below consciousness? You know, could that be? It's just like, what have I been through in my life that could condition me to not feel worthy? I would think it's almost a sign of a healthy mind, at some degree of health, to doubt oneself at that next level, because there's reason in doubt. There's reason in doubt. If it's not been explored and there isn't content and context using reason, you could say, oh, I have a 10% probability of success. Well, I don't want to die. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be shamed and destroyed. I don't want to lose my ability to procreate. As you know, everything is so, the bar is really high. If we're going back a 500,000 years, and that's still in our brain, it makes sense that should doubt. It makes sense that I should doubt. It makes sense that you should doubt yourself. Don't let, doubt without, and then, but work towards it. It's like, if you doubt, seek mentorship, learn something, read the book, go for it, be honest about that. People will find you out. You don't want them to find you out. You want to be honest so that they know where you're at. And the right people, the givers, the ones that want to elevate you and help you up, they're going to come by your side and help you up. So much of our culture postures and tries to present to us that we need to lie to ourselves or puff our chests and placate to who we should appear like, or how we should appear to be, showing up to get opportunity. That fake it till you make it idea, that can be very dangerous. How do we know we're not attracting manipulators and, but malevolence into our lives? Those that are aware but won't share that and will take advantage. Here's my last thought. Procrastination is the opposite of responsibility. Yeah, I mean, I don't have an ability to respond. I'm putting it off. I'm rationalizing that it could get done later. And I might have to put things off if there's something in front of my plate. I might have to act later if I'm acting on something else now. But if I'm not acting on something else now and I'm putting it off for later, I'm entitled to not do anything right now. And maybe there's a death of potential in that. I'm entitled not to do it. You know, there's a time to think, there's a time to strategize, there's a time to act. This is where relationships come in. Accountability comes from speech and physicality, saying what one thinks, having a safe, like basically people, I'm going to condition what I have a big part of the relationship with truth because I'm conditioning other people around me to be honest with me or not based on how I respond to their honesty and relate to them. Am I creating fear everywhere I go? People are afraid to tell me what they think of me? Or am I creating a welcoming or an opportunistic environment for people to tell me the truth? I need them to tell me the truth or I'm screwed. I'm going to be absorbed and drown in my lies, my honest lies, honest in public, lie to oneself, the honest liar. One is unable to respond, irresponsible. Yeah. Procrastination is a consequence of entitlement, a consequence of success, a consequence of responsibility. If we've earned it. So, that's the adage, what got you here won't take you there, or like don't celebrate your wins too long. Life is paradox. Entitlement comes from responsibility. Be wary. It's like, oh, I'm not doing what I used to do because I don't know what to do now, or I don't want to do it for some reason. I don't even know why. I'm not motivated anymore. I've got everything I need. But what do I want? Well, that's the thing. That's the purpose piece. I believe Peterson's making this argument in his thesis. We're meaning making machines. It's not the pursuit of happiness. It's the method of meaning or the maps of meaning. We need meaning. We create meaning. What's the goal? What's the aim? What am I giving up? Why? Who am I doing it with? How am I getting there? How am I actually doing it? How I do it has a relationship with what I don't do. Wow, I'm in a good mood today. This is fun. I really recommend Maps of Meaning, by the way. That's a wonderful textbook. That's, decade and a half or 2 decades took for Peterson to write this thing. And it's so clear in it because it's so thoroughly written. Today we talked about procrastination, the only true death. I hope that this was enjoyable for you. Please keep reading to think, writing to develop, listening to hear what is unsaid, and speak to let go. Invest in 30 days of thought. Pursue your 30 days of thought and join me on this road as you continue to see me learning and unlearning and developing. And I'll see you next time. Please leave a review on the Culture Matters podcast.